All right, guys, welcome to a new episode of 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway. To start off this episode, we're going to crack open a nice Happy Dad.
Get it kicking right away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's kick back, enjoy a Happy Dad on this episode with our fans. And guys, crack open a Happy Dad yourself and enjoy another episode of 6 Feet Under.
Reverend.
Hey.
Oh, man, how are you?
I'm doing good. You know, when I'm not in the pulpit speaking to the congregation.
Yes.
And like I said before, and you can remember asking for donations, but it ain't for me.
No.
It's for the building fund.
What are you building?
A doorknob, a window, you know, the stained glass windows, things like that, you know. It works, I'm telling you.
You got a good heart, man.
Very good heart. And when I have to, if I got to lay hands on people, I lay them. Lay them.
Bro, can you lay some hands on Matt?
Oh.
Well, you know, holy water's got to be presented with that, so I'm afraid.
Yeah, no,
I need
so much
to
holy
know
water.
I need to know his background before I do that.
No, I need you to hit him with one of them holy chairs.
Ooh.
Hey,
Matt.
I'll take holy water over tables, chairs, ladders. No TLC, just holy water. I'll take the water any day.
Man, the Dudleys ain't afraid to swing a chair.
No, I know.
And we love our tables.
Oh, yeah, well, that goes
love our
without
tables.
saying.
Yeah.
That goes without saying,
The
brother.
dumbest thing I ever did was not bring a table, ladder, and chair to this episode.
What are you
This
thinking?
I know, of all the people to have on here, not to have those out here on the set today.
Holy smokes,
Yeah.
man. Well, how you been, man? It's been a minute since I seen you.
Yeah, it's been a real minute. I'm doing all right, you know. I've got my YouTube channel all going on now. I have my wrestling school in Winter Park, right next to the Performance Center. I have my own line of cigars coming out.
Oh,
Working on that.
Oh, wait a minute. That is game changer right
We
there.
just
Working on
became
that.
best friends.
Yes.
Yes. Now, where do you get
Yes.
your cigars made? Let's go into
Yeah,
this.
well, the guy who actually is working with Big Papi, David Ortiz,
Yeah.
I met him at the cigar bar that I frequent in Melbourne, Florida, and it's called Fairway Cigar Lounge. And Big Papi, David Ortiz, he was doing a meet and greet there to promote his cigars.
Sure.
And the gentleman who owns the cigar bar had asked me, you know, you should think about doing your own cigar lounge because you're here all the time and I know you love your cigars. And I said, yeah, because I love the acid cigars, the Cuba acid cigars. So I smoke those on a regular basis. And we started talking a little bit. And he goes, yeah, I got somebody coming with David Ortiz who basically you could probably talk to. So I said, okay. So we started talking. He was like, yeah, I would love to do one with you. He was like, I think it's great. And plus, you know, Trey told me about all the cigars that you like to smoke and this and that. So I was like, okay. So we started talking, and then next thing you know, we're cutting the deal, and we're in the process of doing that now.
Well, good for you, man. Yeah, you don't know. You actually just really became good friends with Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, very.
He is the cigar aficionado of the.
Have you had any of the Deadwood tobacco? Any of the ladies?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so if you like the acids, so they're made with pipe tobacco. Drew Estates partnered with them. Little small tobacco company out of Deadwood, South Dakota, but they've got the ladies, and we would love to have some sent to the studio. But like Fat Bottom Betty, Sweet Jane's, all of those, like they are absolutely delicious. And I mean, I'm always down to go to a cigar bar tonight if you want.
I would love that.
Yes, so that is that is my vice right there, smoking cigars.
They just
I
opened
love
one
them.
by my house.
There is?
It's brand new. Yeah, I think it's called the Cigar Vault.
Oh.
Just,
Like
I mean,
is it a
it's-
lounge?
I'm not sure what it is. That's what it's called, the Cigar
Yeah.
Vault. I'm assuming it's a cigar lounge. It's
Yeah.
right there by the barbecue place, across the street from.
Oh,
the
really?
barbecue. Right, yeah, right over there.
Man,
You know that area.
yeah,
over
that
there.
little area, wherever that area is.
Yeah. So your school? How close is your school to the PC?
So the school is about 3 minutes away from the PC. It's actually in the opposite direction, which is only about maybe a mile and a half down the road from the PC Center. It's called DDA, D-Von Dudley Academy.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get through one and go right into the other.
Well, let me just say this. It's probably an act of God.
Oh,
And I tell you why, because I was having problems with the original place that me and Bubba was at in Kissimmee. The landlord had rented the space out to a gentleman who opened up a gym because we had the back half of it.
Right.
The original gym had left, cut out in the middle of the night, left the landlord high and dry.
There's been a lot of those, yeah.
Yeah, so we actually stayed and actually was paying the rent for both parts, the entire thing. And then the lady came to me and said, you know, the guy is complaining, the new owner of the gym is complaining that he originally wanted that space and so forth and so on. And I said, well, we were here since 2007. I said, it's now, 2021 now.
Oh, my goodness.
2023, I said, and we have been here with 2 or 3 gyms that have closed and was able to hold off everything. So what are you trying to tell me? Well, he wants the space and I have to give him the space. And, if we don't, then he's planning on suing me. I said, but you told me when they were coming in that you made it perfectly clear that we were stable there and we weren't going anywhere. I know, but he's planning on going to court because he signed the lease and everything. And I just said, you know what? I'm not even going to fight this no more. I said, whatever. So I had my people look for a place to put the school. And again, I had no idea that the PC Center was in Winter Park. I knew it was somewhere around that general area, I should say, but I didn't know that the place that the people found was going to be right there. By the PC Center. So that's why I say it was an act of God that they brought me over there.
Testify.
My brother. So, you go from my school and I ship you right over to the PC Center.
That's awesome. So how do you, once someone comes into your school, what is your process? Because everybody's different.
Right.
Like, are you in I'll just throw a number like, 12-week is like a 12-week deal, or are you there until you feel like they're ready to move on to the?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both of that because we have a 12-month thing. 12 months, so you're there for 1 year. It's $3,500 for the year, and if you can't pay it all up front, then it's $500 down, $250 a month for 12 months. And what happens is if you want to stay after those 12 months, after you've met your obligation, then it's only $100 a month after that. So you can continue to learn and continue to grow there. So that's exactly what we do there. And we start off with, you don't even see the inside of the ring until about maybe after about a month and a half to 2 months, because we have you on the floor conditioning and all that, and then chain wrestling. Although chain wrestling seems to be a lost art, we actually encourage that in our school.
What is chain wrestling? Can you explain that?
So it's like different holds, hammer locks, reversals, things like that you can do standing up. A hammer lock, top wrist lock, things of that nature. So we make sure that you're equipped and knowing what to do in that aspect. Now, I was trained by legendary Hall of Famer Johnny Rodz.
Right.
So the first thing he taught us was chain wrestling. Yeah. Before we knew any of the other stuff, and then we got stretched.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Exactly.
You know what I mean. $3,500. That's actually a really good price because I was in for $2,500 in 1987 with Buzz. So
in a backyard.
Without a ring. Yeah, with a backyard with dog shit and everything else. He had two gigantic Rottweilers that put landmines in the backyard. I show up at his house and we're basically we're doing bear hug bendovers in the backyard and all these calisthenics and everything else. There never was a ring. It was basically a scam, the whole thing. But the price is, I mean, that's great, man.
Yeah, I mean, we've kept
it.
Yeah, and we've kept it since 2007 because we realize, times are hard. A lot of people can't afford, but we have to make money as well.
Right.
Bringing that in. So we did it logically. We thought about it and we said, okay, this is the number we'll come up with. So we're kind of meeting in between because there's some places that will go 5,000, 6,000, as well as even 10,000. Nowadays, these kids don't have that. It's a different atmosphere, or I should say it's a different generation than it was when we were going to wrestling school. We did whatever it took to get that money, to get to that wrestling school because we wanted it that bad. Not taking anything away from the new generation, but it doesn't seem like they're as hungry as we were coming up in the business. So it's like, okay, and what I mean by that is like, okay, what do I do to get this money to be able to go to this wrestling school? And a lot of them just don't have the answers. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do it.
They don't have the grit to figure that out.
Right. So, instead of going, okay, I'm going to stay on this number and that's it, I'm not budging, I try to work with them in between. I don't have to, but I do it.
Yeah.
And Bubba has his school up in Connecticut because he left Florida and moved to Connecticut. And when he did that, that was when we separated the schools and have him in Connecticut and me in Winter Park. So
I didn't know, but I see Bubba every week. I never had no clue that he was in Connecticut. I thought he was still in Florida.
No, he left, but he's thinking about coming back now. Yeah. The cold weather, as we get older,
it ain't nice.
Who leaves Florida to go to Connecticut?
Bubba.
Yeah, taxes.
That's why he's so angry all the time. That's why he's so mad.
I'm really concerned about his mental capacity right now.
When I heard he was going back up in Connecticut, I was like, man, you done lost your mind.
Wow.
Now he wants to come back. Now he's not, because he realized that cold weather is not his friend.
No.
No. And so between the wrestling school and all that, like I said, the wrestling school, the cigars now trying to come out. And I also have a detailing business in West Palm, in West Palm, Fort Lauderdale area.
Yeah, that's a good spot to have.
Oh, yeah. And it's a mobile one where we come to you. So it's called 3D Auto, and we come to you. So we go as far as Miami and go as high up as Daytona. So we come to you. We do a lot of the boys' cars that was on the main roster, things like that, which helps get the word out and things like that. Plus, we have clientele. We were also in the process of nabbing one big celebrity, but it fell through. So we weren't able to get that client, but we're working on other clients to make this detailing business a real thing now.
Wow, man, you've turned quite the entrepreneur, man.
I'm trying. Let me tell you.
No, you got to hustle, man. I mean, that never leaves us is the hustle.
Exactly.
Well, it kind of left me, but but
you just hustle to try to get out of here to get home as fast as possible. That's it.
It's a different hustle, though, man. But. So the school, obviously, you've been in business since what you said, 2007?
Since 2007.
Yeah. So how many, like right now, how many students do you think you?
Well, I think right now we have anywhere between 25 to almost 30.
Wow.
And here's the deal with that. The school basically, it's like, and I think anybody who has a wrestling school can attest to this, where you'll hit your high, you'll get all these students coming in, and then all of a sudden you'll hit a low where some of them starts to leave and venture out. Then you get that new flux of students coming in, and right now we're starting to be up on that high. We had probably about maybe a good 8 to 10 students just signed up within the last 2 weeks.
Really?
That just came out of nowhere. And it was great because I love it when it gets that way. Now, of course, when it gets on the low, you really got to be there and you got to hustle to get it back to going, and that's what we do.
Wow. So how many trainers? So I'm just figuring out the house. How many trainers do you have and rings?
I got one ring, but again, we break it down from the beginners to the advanced.
Right.
So the beginners will be on the floor with one of our trainers.
Right.
His name is Jake St. Patrick. He's been in the business for about a good 12 years now going on, and extremely good at what he does. Even Bubba likes him. Wow. So that tells you right there.
Okay.
Bubba will come down to the school. He'll be like, hey, that kid, is he still there? I was like, yeah, okay, have him come there. I said, you want anybody else? Nope, just him. I'm like, damn, you must really like him.
I guess.
And then we have, I believe you might have met him. His name is Dan Carr. He was Bubba's ex-father-in-law.
Okay.
Bubba was married to his daughter at one point. He is the creator of the American Gladiators.
Gotcha.
He's the originated creator of the American Gladiators. And when you think about pro wrestling and all the big stars like Bruno Sammartino or what have you, or Ric Flair, he is synonymous with arm wrestling. He was the world's champion. When you talk about arm wrestling and somebody who knows about arm wrestling, if you mention Dan Carr's name, boom. He's the guy. He's like the Michael Jackson of arm wrestling.
The Michael Jackson?
The Michael Jackson of arm wrestling.
Damn. All right.
I don't even know if that's it. I don't know if that was a good comparison. I was going to say.
I had a weird visual. I had a weird visual of Michael Jackson arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Mike Todd. Michael Jackson.
We got a buddy that's Michael Todd, who's like the 30-something time world champion in arm wrestling.
Okay, hold on. Maybe Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan.
Michael
Jordan. That's better.
That was what you were looking for.
I was looking at popularity.
Okay. Now I'm with you.
Me and Taker, we've always had our talks about Michael and all of that, and
Michael Jackson or Jordan?
Michael Jackson.
Okay, there you go. He's phenomenal at what he did. Yes, the greatest.
Yeah. Anyway, Jordan was all right too.
Jordan was okay. Yeah.
Well, here's what I got to ask you: LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan.
Thank you.
No, that's not even
In comparison.
No.
And and I was talking with somebody about this because they put LeBron. And I'm not taking anything away from LeBron. I think LeBron is great.
Great.
I think
One of the greatest
especially
ever.
for his
He's
era.
a Mount Rushmore guy. Yeah.
Absolutely. But when you look at the documentary that they did on Michael Jordan and the fear that Jordan put in people, you didn't talk to him a certain way because if you did, you paid for it.
Including his teammates.
His teammates and the coaches of the opposite team.
Yeah.
It was like, and LeBron doesn't do that to people. He doesn't put fear in people like that.
Yeah. No, he's going to get he's going to drop in his prime. He's going to drop 30, but you still.
He's not a killer.
He didn't have that killer instinct like Jordan did.
No.
It's almost like Jordan wanted to be the best, and he wouldn't take anything less. Him and Kobe both, right? And I don't know if LeBron's got that dog in him. You know what I mean?
I think Jordan hated losing more than he loved winning.
He said that. He said
No,
that.
he
He said that in the
does it-
documentary.
does it?
He hated to lose.
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah,
want
I
to lose.
just
But I think anybody, including yourself, and I mean you guys, I mean, you've got to have that in you, right?
You do.
If you don't have that in you, you're not going to be. You can be successful, but you're not going to be put into that category of the greats.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think Dominic Wilkins had mentioned that I guess the Bulls were playing, who was Atlanta?
Atlanta
Yeah.
dominant.
And Jordan walks into the locker room in Atlanta and goes, "It's going to be a long night, boys. Tie them up." Now, you have to be a brave man to walk in to another locker room and say that and drop 62 points that game.
Yeah.
62 points. So that right there shows me how big and bad Jordan was. And again, we're not taking anything away from LeBron. LeBron's a great player, but at the same token, the man is Michael Jordan.
Yeah. I'm in a kind of a weird. I put Kobe above LeBron.
I do too.
For me, it's
And
Jordan,
Magic
Kobe.
is up there, right up there too.
For me, it's Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. Those are the in that order.
Yep.
And then there's an argument after that of whoever else you want for 4 or 5, whatever. But I just think because Kobe and Michael were just different. They had that dog in them.
Not to mention, when you think about how the NBA was back then, the brutality, the Detroit Pistons, the bad boys, and how they used to just beat people to a pulp. And there was no fouls called. There was nothing like called. So you were able to get away with that. Could LeBron take that type of punishment?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, he's a big boy, but could he have taken
Dude,
McHale?
he flops around right now with hardly any contact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Bill Laimbeer and who was the other one? Mahorn
Beating him? Oh, it would have been
getting
bad.
him in the crosshairs?
It would have been bad.
I mean, have him drive just against. To go down in the post against Shaq's prime.
Who?
You know what I mean?
Bro.
Like that's not happening.
Him trying to drive to the
No,
to the hoop?
that's not gonna. That's not gonna happen.
No.
And that I don't think LeBron on any team that LeBron's been on even beats the Utah Jazz with Stockton and Malone.
Ooh, oh, that's a bold.
Yeah. That was,
I don't. That team, the only team that could beat them was the Bulls.
The Bulls, yeah.
That
they
team
did.
was yes, and I mean that's the whole thing. It's like, and they did. I mean, and Jordan, you got to think how often do you go to the finals and across from you are 2 Hall of Famers and 2 top 50 players of all time, 2 top 20 players of all time.
Think
Really,
about it. Jordan also had food poisoning.
yeah.
When he ate the pizza that he got, and they set him up, really.
How many guys right now are in the locker room smoking cigars and playing dice before the game, before some of the biggest games of their career? That's what Jordan was doing every night. You know what I mean?
He was in the wrong business. He should have been in our business.
He should have been. He should have been. Listen, beer on one hand, Jack in the other.
Yep.
Oh, it's time for me to go. Let's go. Let's. Oh, y'all need me a gorilla, huh? All right, let me. So, well, how did you get into wrestling? What was what was your start? Mark, of all of our sponsors, we probably get more responses for Bluechew than any other.
Yeah.
Guys, have a better time in the bedroom with Bluechew. Bluechew is the original brand offering chewable tablets that make all your bedroom activities just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Such as.
Such as, well, you know.
Oh.
You know.
No. Oh, okay. No details. Okay.
Yeah, you know what Blue
I
Chew
got
can
you.
help
I
out
got you.
with.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and you know what it can help out with. Blue Chew is putting its money where its mouth is and offering you a month free.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What are
They
they
stepped
thinking?
up their game in 2025.
What are they thinking?
Oh, I have no idea. But all I know is they're not stopping until every creature of the night is,
Firm.
stiff. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days in discreet packaging, by the way.
Yes. That's
That's
important.
key.
Yeah, that
That's
is
key.
important.
You don't want the neighborhood Karen walking by going, "What's that on their front porch?"
Then they're looking it up and then they're talking
Maybe
about
Karen's husband needs some Blue Chew and work her out. Blue Chew tablets are made right here in the USA. God, I love an American-made company. And prepared and shipped directly to your door. Once again, discreet packaging. You can take them anytime, day or night, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever you want. It's part of my daily vitamin regimen.
You snack on Blue Chew?
Snack on Blue Chew. So you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises.
See, I see what you did there.
Best part, it's all done online, nice and easy. You're not having to go to a doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Yeah, nobody wants to get their steroids for their wiener at a pharmacy.
No.
Does it work? Well, creatures of the night, find out for yourself and get a month free. If you don't, you could be missing out on the best time of your life. Blue Chew will not stop until every man is bricked up. Boom. Boom. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month free of Blue Chew. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring 6 Feet Under. So go to bluechew.com and chew it.
And do it.
That's right. Thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring 6 Feet Under.
Grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. And grew up in the projects, and there was so much stuff going on during that time. This is like 1982, 83. This is when crack first hit the scene and was running rampant through the projects. And instead of going outside, being out there with the idiots that were doing drugs and stealing and all of that, my thing was I wanted to watch pro wrestling. I was hooked during the Hogan and Andre era, the Rock and Wrestling, with Cyndi Lauper, Dave Wolf, Lou Albano, all of that.
Yeah.
Piper. And I wanted to get home and watch them and see what was going to happen next. Not to mention, I was a big Mr. T fan back then as well.
I pity the fool.
I pity, exactly, which is where my character comes from. So I basically was trying to get home to see if Hogan and Mr. T were going to get together and take on Mr. Wonderful and Roddy Piper, which later on proved to be WrestleMania. And it got to the point where I didn't care what was going on out there. I just wanted to watch pro wrestling. And as the years went on, I did have a scholarship to play football, and I passed it up because my love for pro wrestling was crazy. And I only liked the physical aspect of playing football. I didn't really like it to go forward and play college or even possibly the NFL.
Right.
Didn't think about that, but I wanted to go to WWE. I wanted to go to a major, WCW or at the time NWA, and be world's champion or what have you. I wanted to do that, but I never saw myself like that with football. So I passed it up. And of course, both of my parents being reverends, when I told them I wasn't taking that scholarship, it was not good. I was called every name but my name.
Well, you get a scholarship to get out of the projects. Yeah. You got two good parents in the house, right? And then all of a sudden, no, Mom and Dad, I don't want to do that.
It sounds eerily familiar. There's somebody, I can't think of the guy's name.
Mean Mark Callis, I think, is what
I'm just thinking, you passed up a full ride scholarship?
Before you say anything, you've got to check yourself on that one. Yeah.
I was like,
listen, I thought the exorcism was going to be done right there in the house. I mean, it was bad. I had to move out and everything, And then I called Johnny Rods. He was at Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn. I called him and told him that wanted to become a pro wrestler. I was working as a manager at a department store called KB's Toy Store. KB's
I remember that.
Yeah. And it was opposite, of course, of Toys R Us. That was their competitor. And I was a manager there. So I called Johnny. Johnny goes, yeah, brother, I come down and maybe I come visit you. You come help Johnny out, I get Christmas stuff for the kiddos, You give me big discount.
Sounds like a wrestler.
That's a wrestling story if I ever heard one.
And I didn't know anything. I didn't know that's how the old timers do things.
Oh, gosh.
So I was like, yeah, Johnny, come on down. Now I'm all excited because I'm like, yeah, this is my opportunity to become a pro wrestler. I'm going to wrestling school. This is going to be great. And he comes down. The day he comes down, my district manager is there.
Oh, no.
And with another lady, I forget what position she held, but all the big wigs are there now. Now Johnny comes in. When I tell you he had 3 shopping carts of toys, he brings them up to the counter.
For his own kids, I'm sure, right?
So I'm sitting up there ringing stuff in. I'm half ringing them in, half not doing that. And they're watching me do this. The district manager, all of them watching me do this. So by the time the bill comes, the manager sees that in the back. He sees that, he starts rushing up to the front because now he wants to see what the bill is.
Right.
Because he knows that I know Johnny, and he knows that possibly something's not right. So when he saw the bill, it was like, it should have been like almost $1,500, almost $2,000. I think it came to like $500. He went, whoa.
Wait a minute here, brother.
So he started doing that. Needless to say, I got fired that day.
Yeah, I can see that. So, yeah.
And so Johnny Rods goes, I remember telling him, I was like, sorry, Johnny. He was like, not a problem. I just got to pay all of this money. That's okay. I said, well, if it helps any, I got fired. He goes, oh, sorry, but all the money I spent.
That is so old school, man. That is so,
It was great.
That's so great. That is how it was, man.
Yeah,
that is how it was.
And then I went home, licked my wounds and all that, got a job working at the post office. So the post office actually helped me to go to Johnny's school to pay for it. And I was doing that for 5.5 years.
Really?
Working at the post office. Yeah, I was working at the post office. I went from carrying the mail to mail handler down in the basement, and then went to a clerk.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, so I did all of that, and then basically paid for my wrestling school. And then the next thing you know, I got the phone. Johnny saw me. I was having some personal problems, some personal issues with my personal life, and I took some time off. Mm-hmm. It even got to the point where I said, I'm not going to do this. It's a dream, and I should have never, decided to do that. I should have taken a scholarship. And I remember just holding my sons in my hand one day, the twins, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back. This is like after a couple of months. I said, I'm going to go back. I said, I'm going to make you proud of me. And I put them down, called Johnny. I said, I'm coming back to the school. I went back, and next thing you know, my head is focused. I'm focused. I'm just going. And he came out of the office. He goes, what the hell got into you? And I said, well, what do you mean? He was like, you flipping and flying and going, doing all of this stuff. I was like, I told you I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to come back. And he says, okay. He was like, well, let me ask you a question. I trained Tommy Dreamer and Taz and Alex, which is Big Dick Dudley. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah. He goes, they work for that organization called ECW. Now, I heard of ECW, and I even saw a little bit of it. But me personally, I was scared to death of it.
Well, yeah.
Because it wasn't the wrestling that I was used to seeing.
Yeah.
And, anybody that takes a barbed wire bat and hits somebody with it, and you take thumbtacks and sprinkle it on the table, and you throw somebody, in it, and then you got somebody with a stick with fire over it. I was like, what the hell? That's not wrestling. That's barbaric. It's like the UFC when they first started.
Right. Yeah.
And I basically was like, yeah, I heard of ECW. Yeah, he's like, yeah. I was like, what do you think about going there? And when you can have that 5-minute conversation in your head that only takes 2 seconds, and that's exactly what happened to me. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'd love to go.
Yep,
I'd love to go. He's like, good, let me make the phone call to Taz. He calls Taz. He goes, yeah, I got this kid that will blow everybody up down there. He's just that good. He'll do this and do that, blah, blah, blah. So Taz goes, sit him down. Paulie's looking for a Dudley. Looking for a Rastafarian Dudley. Right. And I was like, oh boy. So when Johnny told me that, I said, well, the hair on top of my head is thinning. So I don't know if I can grow dreadlocks. So I don't know about the Rastafarian. He goes, well, just talk to Taz. He'll work with you. So when I got down there, I was like, Taz, how you doing? My name is D-Von, because my real name is D-Von, but the wrestling name is D-Von. So I was like, how you doing? Nice meeting you. And he goes, hey, nice meeting you. He's like, oh, so you're the kid. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, Johnny told me you blow everybody up here. Now I got Perry Saturn looking at me as he's saying it and just salivating at the mouth, and I just went, I don't know why Johnny told you that. Because I'm thinking, these people are barbaric. What the hell? Why are you setting me up for failure?
Yeah.
You're telling these people that I'm going to blow everybody up. And then back then in the wrestling business, if you told somebody that, even if it wasn't you that was telling that,
they're going to test you.
They're going to test you.
Yeah.
And when I had to try out with Perry Saturn. And Perry. I love Perry to death. I had to try out with Perry Saturn, and we started doing different things. Taz is watching, Dreamer's watching, and long and behold, in the corner, in the back, is a young Bubba Ray Dudley. Watching in the back, just as humble as can be. Not the Bubba you're used to seeing right now.
What are you talking about? What are you talking?
Exactly. He's sitting up there, standing there, watching, hands crossed, everything. Not the same Bubba that you know today. And I always tease him about that. He's like, "Shut up, D-Von." But we do a couple of spots. Taz is calling everything out. We're just doing it. And right then, I'm just like ready to go. I'm fit. I'm ready to go. And we got done with it. And Perry's on one knee. He's kneeling down. And Taz looks at him and goes, "What do you think?" And Perry's like, "Yeah, the kid can go."
Wow.
The kid can go. And, Perry Saturn was a badass, legit badass, ex-Green Beret, everything. So, and you couldn't blow him up. But apparently it happened that day. So if Perry sees this, sorry, Perry, I had to tell that story.
Wow.
And we had witnesses.
Wow. All right.
No. But, Perry did great for me. He helped me out in the whole nine. And I remember doing that. And after that was over, I remember going back to my seat, just sitting down waiting to see what they were going to say. And I was like, damn, I blew up Perry Saturn. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's a to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you
So
say something stupid, and then the next thing you know, you're getting
you're
a
freaking
forearm across your bridge of your nose.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I kept that to myself. I was like, damn. I was like, this is great. I'm feeling great. And of course, Perry made me pay for it later on in the years of ECW.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah, he got me. It wasn't, listen, it didn't just go good night after that was over. I paid for it later.
Yeah.
But it was, Perry really did help me and helped me out a lot. And that was basically how everything really got started. It was basically going through Johnny Rods and then going from Johnny to ECW and then from ECW to WWE.
So they put you and Bubba together right away?
Yes.
Yeah.
But first we were feuding with each other. We were going at it.
Right.
And we basically, because the Dudley gimmick was made to be a joke. It was never made to be serious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mark, we're halfway through this episode.
You know what that means?
The only way to get through it is some first form energy.
Yep. So we are the only ones not asleep.
Oh, man. Well, first form energy, got a little screaming freedom here.
Oh, man.
If you guys want to be able to make it through the rest of this episode, crack open a first form and get some energy with us, because that's the only way we're going to finish this episode out, I think.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good, man.
Yeah, they're all good. Thank you, First Form, for sponsoring 6 Feet Under.
When I came in, I was apparently from the south side of Dudleyville.
Right.
That was Paulie's thing, from the south side of Dudleyville, and I didn't want Bubba stuttering or dancing anymore, and I'm going to write the Dudleys and make the Dudley name strong. And so I'm beating up Bubba, I'm beating up all the other Dudleys as well, because they're not listening, they're not taking this seriously. This family is not a joke. And finally we're going at it. We didn't touch, I'm just beating him up and leaving the ring, beating him up, leaving the ring. Finally he gets his hands on me, and then that's when the feud starts. Then the feud starts and everything was good. I mean, we were rocking and rolling, and it was hard to actually get over in the ECW arena in front of that crowd. That was probably one of the hardest crowds I think I'd ever worked in front of, because they were just bloodthirsty. They didn't care. They let you know when you messed up. And we were both young, but we were hungry, and we were willing to go out there and just literally beat the crap out of each other. Mm-hmm. We said sorry in the back before we went out there. It was never something where we complained about it when we got to the back after everything was said and done. We knew what we had to do to get out there and to make, what we were doing legit for those fans to like us.
And didn't have any problem bringing that attitude to WWF when they got there.
One story, I'm glad he said this. We're in Vegas at a pay-per-view. It's the Dudleys versus Taker and Kane versus the Hardys versus Edge and Christian.
Yep.
And somehow we went way over in time. I remember that. That was one thing. But somebody hit somebody hit Taker in the back of the head with a chair and busted him open. Now,
Somebody.
So we were supposed to hit Kane. Kane, because Kane was right next to Taker, and I take one and Bubba takes one. Now, originally, I was supposed to hit Taker, and Bubba was going to hit Kane. But then, of course, Bubba switched it, came over, and went to go hit Taker. So I hit Kane flush on the back. Bam, he goes down. Taker, boom. And all of it, Bubba hits him right in the back of the head. And Bubba, and he's bleeding. I remember seeing him on the floor, and Taker's just like, mother, bust me open, damn it. And I went,
Match ain't even started yet.
Not even started. And I'm looking, I go, what's wrong with him? I look at Taylor, what's going on? I know I hit Kane flush on the back. I was like, Bubba wouldn't dare hit him in the back of the head. And so we're fighting up top with Edge and Christian on the top of the ramp, and then all of a sudden we make our way down, and here comes the Hardys. They jump us, they start beating on us. Now here come Taker and Kane. They beat the hell out of the Hardys. The Hardys, get out of the way. They picked up chairs, and Taker goes up, hit me, bust me open with a chair, boom, boom. I go, it wasn't me, it was the fat white one. It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't.
Oh, God.
It was the fat white one.
I'm like, I'm the black guy. I'm the black guy. No, it wasn't me.
Oh, my gosh.
It was great.
Oh, yeah.
and you can see him laughing a little bit. He didn't want to laugh. He was so mad.
It was on our entrance, right?
Yeah.
They jumped us on our entrance.
Yeah.
And you're expected, like, you're kind of walking and your shoulders are rounded up, expecting to, like, dude, I got, like, it's a pretty big back. You got a lot of real estate there. Because when I got hit in the head, I'm like, how in the, like, I'm 6'8", 6'9". How in the hell are you hitting me in the head? This is all running through my, like, hit me in the back. I don't, and I always preface it to hit me as hard as you want. Hit me as hard as you freaking want.
Just let it be in the back.
Or if it's coming in the head, at least if I know it's coming to the head, right? Yeah. I can decide how I'm going to take it. But if I'm expecting it in the back and I'm feeding my back and it's not even the chair part. It's the arm of the chair, the railing of the chair, the tube that cracks me in the back of the head. And I'm just like, oh no, they did not. No.
And you got to think about it. That match in itself that's not a Brothers of Destruction type of match. You know what I mean? With the Dudleys and the Hardys and Edge and Christian. Like, that's not y'all's type of match to me anyway.
Those guys are way too creative.
Y'all are supposed to go in there.
Yeah, we are a wrecking machine. Yeah. We have no business being in that. No. We are just smash and destroy. And they must have thought that was a shoot because they did try to take us out. Like, well, hey, let's just accidentally hit Taker in the head. Maybe he'll go unconscious or something.
And I go, what the hell? We get in the back, I go, you hit Taker in the back of the head? He goes, he thought it was you. I go, what do you mean he thought it was me? He goes, in his mind right now, he thinks it's you. So you're the one that hit him in the back of the head. I go, Bubba. I was like, all you got to do is look at the video and see that it was you that hit him. He goes, yeah, but until then, you hit him.
I can get out of here. I'll be gone. Yeah. I'll be gone by the time he sees it back.
He'll be calmed down by the time he finds out the truth.
I was like, what the hell? I just remember, no, it wasn't me, I swear. I'm the black one. It was the fat white one that hit you.
That's the best. Oh
my goodness.
The best.
He is so funny, man. He has not changed. Maybe he's mellowed a little.
Oh, he's mellowed a little.
Yeah, he's mellowed a little. Yeah.
I mean, before he was just like, bam.
Yeah.
That was it.
He could be pretty abrasive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was part of his charm. I mean, as long as you understood who he is. I mean,
and that's the thing, you had to get to know him, to love him. You really did. Because a lot of people just didn't understand it. And once you got to know him, you kind of understood where he was coming from and things like that, because it could have been far worse. You hear horror stories about people in the business and how rude and nasty they can be. He was never rude or nasty. He was, a lot of times, Bubba was trying to protect the team and protect what we have created.
Yeah. When you see him on Busted Open, and I love, watching that.
You got really good insight on
Let me tell you something. He seans like the type of person that cares about the business.
He is.
He does.
And maybe that's where it was coming from.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I think he's so passionate about the business that he wants to die on every hill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which in the wrestling business, you have to understand which hills to die on and which ones not to die on. But he was so passionate about the team, the way the team was represented, and then and a lot of times I think probably where the fault would come is like once you get a vision in your head of how something is supposed to happen or should happen, it's hard to get off the vision.
Yeah.
Right. When you're working with teams and different ideas, then that's where you have to be able to compromise. And I think that sometimes is where the abrasiveness came in, because he has something in his mind. He said, "This is how this should be," and if you can't adjust and make I lost the word, but
audible of some sort.
Well, no, not at all. Give a little, take a little. I've got CTE today. Holy crap! Compromise. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
That thesaurus I gave you for Christmas.
I didn't read that. I didn't get to the C's. But yeah, I think that's kind of where it was. And then you actually had to, you were guilty by association.
Oh, all the time.
Right?
All the time.
He was always cleaning up. He was always going behind cleaning up. Hey, that was Bubba.
Yeah.
We good, right? We're good.
We were okay. I mean, there's no issues, right? I got kids. I'm the real Keith Slater. I got kids. But I don't have kids. I got kids.
He seems like the guy, though, that if you're on if he's on your team, he'll kill for you. He seems like that type of guy.
Yeah, he would. I mean, Bubba is he's like that. He really is. I mean, he is a very caring person.
Yeah.
Although some people because a lot of people don't see that part of him.
Yeah.
But he is that way.
Yeah.
And for those that worked with him, like the Hardys, Edge and Christian, Taker and Kane, where we worked so many matches together, we were able to get along. We were able to do the magic that we were able to do because, we understood one another. I think in any aspect of the game, if you don't understand the person that you're across the ring from, it just won't work.
Yeah.
It just really won't work.
Yeah, you're pissing up a rope.
Mark, I like a little nicotine.
Do you?
Oh, you know me and cigars.
That's true.
Yeah, I like a little nicotine. And we got a new partner for 2025, Nicked.
Yes.
Pouches, man. They got the pouches. Much better than any ones that I've tried. And there's plenty of other competition. You know who that is out there. But if you're looking for a way to get your nicotine fix without smoking tobacco, because my wife absolutely hates when I go outside and smoke a cigar.
Really?
Yeah, because I come back in.
Oh, you smell.
I smell like an ashtray, and she can't stand it. So when I want that fix and I want to keep her happy, maybe I'm on a plane ride, in church. I don't know. Throw one of these in.
Yeah, these aren't frowned upon like if you
No. Because it's just nicotine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a pouch and it's clean and it's.
And Nicked is super thin. You can barely see it when you put it in. This is the peppermint one here. It smells like something you open up in your car, and it's a nice, refreshing smell. They got like 10 flavors.
Yeah, I've got.
What you got there?
I've got the 6 milligram. What do we got here? We got
berry lemonade.
Berry lemonade.
That's like a drink,
right?
Berry lemonade.
It just looks happy.
Yeah, it looks happy. They've got them in 3, 6, and if you're a brave boy, 12 milligrams.
12 milligrams.
12 milligrams. I think 12 might be a little much for me. These are 6s that I got right here. 12 might be pushing it for old Matty B. I don't know if I can handle 12.
Listen,
if I did 12, I would say it'd be a bad day.
Bad day?
It'd be a bad day for old Matt. I'm not doing that. Also, guys, these things last up to 2 hours, and you can barely tell that I have it in. All right. So today, make the switch to Nicked nicotine pouches. You're going to love these. Right now, our listeners are creatures of the night. You get 35% off when you order through our exclusive URL. Go to Nicked, NYKD, pouches.com/6 feet. Get 35% off. Special offer isn't just for your first purchase. You get to use it up to 3 times.
What?
Yep. This isn't just a one-time deal. Up to 3 times. Don't wait. You get 35% off now at NYKD Nicked.
That's an incredible deal.
Pouches.com/6 feet. That's nickedpouches.com/6 feet. Now, just remember, Nicked products are only for adults of legal age, Mark, and every order is age verified. Don't be trying to sneak around out there. The product does contain nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. But if you don't want to smell like smoke and you're tired of Dealing with tobacco? Switch over to Nicked.
Clean alternative.
It's a clean alternative. NickedPouches.com/6feet. NYKDPouches.com/6feet. They got all kinds of crazy flavors, 10 of them. Go check them out. Thank you, Nick, for supporting 6 Feet Under podcast.
Yeah. And, this is always going to happen. You're always going to be butting heads. So, a lot of times when he would say certain things that some people might not understand, if we went with it anyway, you would see in the end that it was probably the right way of doing things, and it actually worked.
Yeah.
Was the other person's plan could have worked better as well? Probably. But what he was dying for on top of that hill, like Taker said, he was willing to die on it, and it worked.
Yeah. It got over.
So in that match, he really thought that I should get color. So I didn't agree. So he just hard-weighed me with the chair. So it all kind of comes in. It all makes sense now. Yeah. I'm going to see him. I'll see him Wednesday. I'm going to have to discuss this with him.
Have a conversation. Yeah.
You remember that? And he still tries to blame me for it, right? He still tries to blame me for it.
Listen, I get blamed for a lot of things.
Well, I'm sure. But no, it's good. And this I'm working on that project. I'm sure he talked to you about it with LFG.
Yes.
You could see his passion and how much he cares for the business, and that's good. And it's good for our future to know that guys like yourself are running schools and throwing some of those old school values and keeping some of that stuff alive, because I think it's kind of it's going away.
Yes.
And for me, it's kind of crucial to have a little bit of that. Like you said, not many people chain wrestle anymore, but man, it's good to have in the toolbox, and you never know
when you're going to pull it out.
Yeah, when you're going to have to pull it out.
I think what's great about chain wrestling is when you do see it in the ring today, in today's product, it's almost refreshing to see it. I think when you see guys do it, I think
if they do it the right way.
Yes.
Yeah. There's sometimes they can do it now and it looks like a dance.
Yeah.
And that's a complete turn off to me. It infuriates me to see the dance kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it looks like Cirque du Soleil and I mean,
it looks like they're two-stepping in the middle of the ring, where it's like, you
go doing the electric slide and
and it's
but when done correctly, when you watch people like Regal when he would do it, and, Eddie and Fit and all those guys that were really, really good at it. I love watching Fit. Fit was phenomenal at chain wrestling. He would chain wrestle you, and you would knew like that hurts.
Yeah.
You see it a little bit with you see it a little bit with Gunther right now too. He'll do it.
Gunther's a throwback. He's a throwback to a little bit of that stuff.
Which I love watching him.
Yes,
he's phenomenal.
He's got that old school mentality. I talked with him. At the Netflix premiere. Right. I just like his mindset and the way he thinks about things, and he's an old soul for this day and age.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really refreshing
Which is
to
what
me.
you need.
Yeah, you got to have some of it. I mean, you can understand you can't get all the toothpaste back in the tube, but it's nice to know that there's some guys that are coming along that still have some of those old school thoughts and values and ways of doing things. Because as simple as it is, or as simple as it looks different and it looks real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the stuff it doesn't necessarily look like it hurts or is, it's obviously it's a different era.
He's believable. I mean, with Gunther, he's very believable in everything that he does, and that's what's great
chop
about it.
is pretty damn.
Yeah, it's pretty believable.
We'd fist
as
fight.
Sheamus.
As much as I love him, as much as I love watching him work and everything he does, we'd fist fight.
Yeah, that would be miserable.
Yeah, he'd hit me by the second time. I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, but a guy like him, I think a guy like him, and I'd love to get your thought on this. He works in WWE today. He works in WWE 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I think a guy like Gunther could work in ECW. Do you think he could have?
Yes, I think the toughness that he had, and like Taker said, the old school mentality that he had.
Yeah,
absolutely. ECW was different.
Yeah,
it wasn't like watching WWE. It wasn't like watching WCW, or I should say NWA. It was
It was
totally
an
different.
alternative product.
Exactly, very alternative. And at that time, the fans wanted that. They wanted something different.
Yeah.
And I think every generation does that, where they get so tired of the old way of doing things that they want something new to come in. ECW just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And with Paul Heyman's creative mind doing what he was doing during that time, it just happened to work. It was like, and I hope I can say the name right because I never do, the group Nirvana. When the hair bands, Motley Crue, Metallica, all of those bands, Dio, when they came in, they ran rampant through the 80s. And then all of a sudden, Kurt Cobain with Nirvana came in and just kicked the door and said, nope, we're here.
Yeah.
We are taking over. And that's exactly what ECW did.
That's a good analogy. Yeah, that really is a good analogy.
That's exactly what they did. So, ECW just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And with Dr. Frankenstein himself, Paul Heyman, he was there. And the one thing I think me and Bubba and even Dreamer like to say that it was kind of a curse. It was good, but it was kind of a curse at the same time because ECW with Paul Heyman behind it, Paul let you pretty much do whatever you want to a certain degree. It was kind of like, he let you come up with your own ideas, your own creations. If it didn't work, we go back to the drawing board and try something else new. Whereas back then in WWE, it was Vince's way and whoever else, that was it. You didn't do that, so you couldn't compromise. So by the time Bubba and I came to WWE, it was kind of like that old mentality that we had. Well, Paulie let us do this, but we know that we can't get away with that in WWE. But we're going to try anyway. So it kind of hurt us in a sense of that way, of, thinking that even though this is what Vince had laid out, we could actually change his mind. And a lot of times it didn't. I think maybe out of 1,000, we probably maybe one time gave an idea, and he was like, "Okay, go for it."
Yeah, that's a pretty good batting. That's a pretty good batting average with Vince.
You get that one chance. That's it.
One out of 100 is pretty good.
The only guy that I knew that had a really decent batting average with Vince and ideas was Sean. But I think because Sean would just pester him and wear him down. Where I would, I would go in and I would pitch my idea and think about it. We'd talk about it, and then he'd shut me down. He'd at least entertain my thought and listen to it. But
did he make you think that he was going to say yes?
Yeah, he wouldn't let me think that all the way up until the time he said, "No, let's go ahead and do it this way." And I'd be like, "Okay, whatever." With Sean, Sean would just wear on him and wear on him and wear on him. And finally, he would just like, "Yeah, I do whatever, do it the way you want." Yeah, but it was always nice when I got to work with Sean. Like, Sean, go talk to him. Even Pat Patterson would like, you gonna send the Sean in? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, he does much better than you, right? Like, yes, Pat, he does much better than me.
So was it when you guys got over to WWE? Did y'all bring up, hey, we need to do tables, ladders, and chairs? I mean, was that?
No. When we came in, the Dudleys were basically the Dudleys from the beginning of ECW.
Okay.
Where Bubba was stuttering and dancing and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't want to do that. We had already evolved from that. So we were basically trying to come into the Dudleys that you saw later on in the years in WWE. Vince was a big fan of the stuttering and the dancing. It's entertaining. That's what Vince liked. So that's what we were doing. And it was only after I believe it was the ladder match between the Hardys and Edge and Christian that they had in Cleveland, Ohio, where they tore the house down with that ladder match. And I remember Bubba and myself were at the monitor watching and a little envious of it because we wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah, sure.
And I remember both of us saying, if Vince would just let us be us, we'll show him that we can do exactly what they're doing. And it was about a week later after that, because we did Monday Night Raw. That was when pay-per-views were on a Sunday. Monday, we were at Monday Night Raw, wherever we were. Then we did SmackDown. Went home, came back on the road, went to TV that next week, and then that's what we were told that the Dudleys were going to be in a tables match with the Hardys at the Royal Rumble at Madison Square Garden. And I remember when me and Bubba found out, he said, we got to turn it up. We have to be the Dudleys of the old. I said, well, is Vince going to make you stutter? And he was like, no, they said you don't have to do it. He's like, he might give me a promo where I have to go, whatever. He smacked me in the back of the head, but don't smack me hard, D-Von. Listen, whenever Bubba would mess with me and I had to smack him because, get him out of the stuttering, bam!
Got to get those shots when you can, right?
Get him in. I'm like, no, it's cool. So, we did that, and, we went in there, that Royal Rumble, that tables match, and we tore the house down. It was really, really cool to be able to do that, to be able to show what we can do. And then, of course, a couple of months later, that's when, we started having matches with the Hardys and Edge and Christian, and something started to develop.
Yeah.
And we basically were told, okay, you guys are going to be in a tables, ladders, and chairs match at WrestleMania in Anaheim, California. And it was just called a ladder match at that point. But we were able to use, tables and ladders and chairs and all that. So we basically looked at it as that it was the original first TLC match, but it was called a ladder match. But we were able to do that. And then once we did that, I just remember the stakes were high because, we were on WrestleMania with Taker, with Rock, with Big Show, all these big names, Austin, all these big names. And now if we the bed on this, we'll never be invited again to the dance. That would be it.
Yeah.
So
no, y'all tore it down, man.
I love a midnight snack.
What do you got?
And my favorite is eating cereal late at night. I know it's one of yours.
Yeah, it is the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, I don't want to feel guilty when I'm doing it and everything, but I don't feel too guilty when I'm having some Magic Spoon late at night. It's How
could you? 0 sugars, only 4 net carbs, 13 grams of protein. You're doing a body good, brother.
Oh, it tastes so good. I love Magic Spoon.
The high protein, keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, wheat free, naturally flavored, totally delicious, childlike cereal for grown-ups.
That's what it is. Every serving of Magic Spoon cereal has 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs, so you can feel good about what you're eating. The most popular flavors are fruity and cocoa. That's what we've got.
That's what we got, baby, right there.
And there's so many more. Also, they got treats. We're all out of our treats.
That's how good they are.
This is our snacks around the studio. The Magic Spoon brand new treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. And for the first time ever, Magic Spoon treats are available in grocery stores with delicious flavors like marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter. Which is this one here, and that's probably the reason why there's no more left in the box. Magic Spoon, we need some more. So, for our listeners, you creatures of the night, get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/6feet. Or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/6feet for $5 off. Magic Spoon, hold on to the dream. Hold on to your Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon, thank you so much for sponsoring the 6 Feet Under podcast and making a delicious product.
Bring it. And we didn't care about our bodies at that point in time. I mean, at my age now, I take a step off the curb and I'm like, oop, nice and easy.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that TLC match. Yeah.
And we just went out there and we just did it.
Yeah.
And we knew we had to bring it.
And, the funny thing is what's interesting is just like the streak at WrestleMania, right? Like it didn't have to be a main event, but people bought tickets to go see the streak, right?
Absolutely.
I think for the first time in a very long time, people were buying tickets to watch a tag team match when y'all were doing TLCs. And anytime y'all were on the card against the Hardys or Edge and Christian, people were excited to see that tag team match.
I mean, we changed it up every single time. And every time we did a TLC match, we were like, okay, this is great. Good, we're done with that. Now we've proven ourselves. Let's move on. Dudley's, Edge and Christian Hardys, you do another TLC match. It was like, what could we possibly do in this one that we didn't do in the other one? We had to lock ourselves in the room and basically come up with these ideas.
You guys had, it's really crazy for 3 completely different teams to have such chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, it's not as easy as you guys made it look.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard.
It's hard to get 6 people on the same page to create something like that, and then to have to create it multiple times and make it different and interesting.
When you think about TLC, and you watch it ever since but you watch other teams do it. No one, if you bring up to a wrestling fan TLC matches, no one's talking about any other match outside of the y'all's matches?
Well, I think what made it special also is that the story we told. We just didn't swing chairs.
Yeah.
We didn't just put people on ladders and jump. We just didn't put people through tables. We had a story behind it, a story that people can invest in and really like. Remember, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys, we were doing live event matches all the time with each other. We were doing Raw and SmackDown matches. You know, this is when the roster was on the same show as Raw and SmackDown. We weren't separated at that time. So we were constantly working with each other, and we got to build that camaraderie with each other, and we were able to gel and get to know each other. So by the time we got to the TLC matches, it made it a little bit easier, I felt, for us, but also adding in all the different elements, not only telling a good story, but now adding in the tables, ladders, and chairs. And then WrestleMania 17, having all of those, but now bringing in 3 more people. Rhino made his debut, Spike, and Lita. Adding 3 more people to it. So now we got all these, these components, and now we got to make it all work. And we're doing it on the biggest stage that there is at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's like, now you can't mess up.
Yep.
You have to be on the same page. Everybody has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And everybody's got to hit their spots. Everybody's got to sell correctly. They got to move and be in the right place. You have to do it. And again, people ask me, how the hell did you guys do it? I'm like, it was God.
Yeah.
I'm a very biblical person when it comes to that, but I believe that if he didn't want it, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Something would have went totally wrong, but it didn't.
Because those matches are chaos too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? When you're talking about 6 to 9 people being in a ring together,
and having to
one
know
time,
where everybody's at,
everybody's
and
at,
what,
yeah.
and what's,
and then you throw in some ladders, you throw in some tables, you throw in some chairs. There's a lot of
Stuff going
there's
on.
a lot of
moving
stuff going
parts.
on. Yeah, a lot of moving parts versus a one-on-one match,
Yeah.
or even just a regular tag team match.
And Taker will tell you, there's times where 2 people can be in the ring and they're not on the same page.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
can't tell a story. It's not that good.
And with
so.
2 people, you're an inch away from at any point being paralyzed or dying or whatever. Now you guys you're millimeters away from it being on ladders and stuff, and that to me just is a testament of how great y'all were, and the chemistry that all of y'all had together was impeccable, and it you could see it through the screen.
I mean, I love those guys, greatly. I mean, the Dudleys couldn't have done it without Edge and Christian, or the Hardys, and vice versa with all the other teams.
Yeah.
We could not have done it without each other. We had to be on the same page. And we've heard now with some of the stuff that you see, like the dark side of wrestling, or some of these documentaries that you see, how certain tag teams or certain people didn't get along. And now when you look back at some of those matches, you understand why what happened during that match happened, when you knew something went wrong, but it was never exposed why. Now you know we weren't exposed because nothing went wrong, because we actually had a genuine care for each other. And we all were on the same page. No one was trying to outdo the other. That's the thing. During that time, everybody was on top of the world. Everybody was making money. Everybody was over. From the beginning of the opening match to the main event, everyone was over. There was no in-betweens, none whatsoever.
Yeah.
So to have, and people can get big heads or what have you, but, to be on that level during that time with the money that was being generated, with the people that were coming into the arenas to watch us, that right there tells you that, the people that we had within those matches were real.
Yeah.
Because they knew what was at stake, and they knew that we had to be on the same page. There's a lot of times where people know that they got to be on the same page, but they're not. And they go this way.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why things fail.
Right, yep.
And you got to think about if Edge and Christian get hurt, or Hardys get hurt, or y'all get hurt, that affects everyone
Absolutely.
with y'all. Because at that time, y'all were the 3 hottest things, walking. And you wanted the Hardys to walk out of that ring the way
absolutely.
they walked in. And same thing with Edge and Christian. And they felt the same way about y'all, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Because all of you were making, y'all needed each other really to be able to keep doing what y'all were doing.
And I had kids.
Yeah.
Make that money.
No doubt.
What do you think about tag teams today? What needs to happen with the tag team division right now?
Well, back then, Edge and Christian were kind of put together in a sense, but they knew each other. They knew each other before the business, and they trained together. They did everything together. So they were kind of a tag team anyway, even though they came in separate. The Hardys grew up together. They were legit brothers. They were able to get on the road and function like a legit tag team, but they were, in a sense. The Dudleys, same thing. We were able to be together for 5.5 years in ECW, got to learn each other, got to travel with each other, got to even fight with one another. Being able to, come up with ideas and be on the same page. So we were able to do that. Nowadays, it just seems like they take people and just put them together for no reason.
Yeah, no chemistry.
No chemistry whatsoever. And you're just hoping that it's like throwing crap against the wall and hoping it sticks. A lot of times it just doesn't.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the tag teams of yesterday and the tag teams of today. Everybody is a me generation. What can I do? How can I wow the people? How can I wow the crowd? And it's like I got to get my stuff in before everybody else gets their stuff in. And that was the thing. Edge and Christian, the Dudleys and the Hardys weren't like that. You do what you got to do. We're going to do what we got to do, and Edge and Christian will do what they got to do. We all know that we will get over if we stick together as a unit. We don't have to be separate from it.
If you get the match over, you're going to get, everybody else is going to get over, and that's what they did. They will be you guys. All three teams will be synonymous with TLC. When you have something that has lasted the test of time, like y'all's TLC matches, I mean, it's a testament to that everybody put that match and that story before anybody else's ego or any other individual needs. And I think because of the success, obviously, of those matches led to, obviously, I think, Edge's singles run. I mean, I think those matches put him on the map as a singles guy, and the same thing with Jeff down the road.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it was the group as a whole, putting the match above everything else is what made it obviously so good.
And giving an individual credit that I didn't mention that helped us do that as well was Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes was involved in every single one of the TLC matches and even a lot of the matches on Raw and SmackDown that we had. So it was great to have a producer that understood us and that was able to help us through all of that. Even if there was a little bit of tension, Michael was there to get rid of that tension and say, hey, look, guys, this is what's important. This is what we have to do. This is what Vince wants.
Yeah. Of all people, Michael Hayes, right? Who caused in his career like so much tension but he brilliant, man. I think, and Michael was a great heel, and
tremendous.
The Freebirds, I think, but his contributions, his contributions behind the scenes as a producer, I think are far. I mean, that's hard to say because the Freebirds were awesome, but I think him as a producer is his greatest contribution to the wrestling business. Yeah. I mean, he was my producer for all my WrestleMania matches and just incredible.
I think today's fan
mind.
doesn't understand how important Michael Hayes is to wrestling.
Funny story. You'll appreciate this. Table, ladders, and chairs. So, and then Edge too is involved in this. We had, we had a really good run, and we end up. I think it was in San Diego. I'm sure everybody will correct me.
It's probably New York,
but it's where I choke slam him. I choke slam him off the ladder, and he goes through the ring, right? Yes. And then the fire and everything comes out. So we're kind of going over everything the night before, and we're talking about and just kind of running ideas, and there was the ring was gimmicked some to a degree. So Michael was like, okay. Y'all ain't gonna have to take this bump. I'm gonna take the bump, okay? I'm gonna show y'all everything's gonna be good. I'm gonna take the bump. I was like, Mike, you don't have to take the bump, bro. We'll figure it out, right? No. I'm good. I'm gonna take the bump. I'll do it. So we finally we get everything mapped out the way we want, and it gets time to go through the ring, right? And Mike climbs up the ladder, like one rung, and it's two rungs, and you can see him looking down. Okay, hang on. He's got a death grip on the ladder. Hang on. I'm like, Michael, for Pete's sake, let me just do it. Like, I got it, damn it. Come on. So he finally gets up to the point where he would be, and he's looking, And I mean, you could look at his hands and see the tension in his hands. And Edge and I are like, "Oh, come on, man! It's getting late. We got to get up tomorrow and work. Hang on, Dad. Hang on. I got this. I bet he was on that ladder. I bet he was on the ladder at least 20 minutes before
Holy crap!
before he took the bump.
Actually,
Yeah. And it to the point where it just became a joke. Like it was like, hang on, I got this. I'm like, but you ain't stepping off. Yeah. But it was so funny. But he was so good. So and
he really
and
was.
still is.
oh yeah. He's I love the
And now he's
Freebirds.
training. I think he's training. I think Bobby Roode now.
Oh really?
Yeah,
producer.
to kind of to be
Take
the
over.
next. The next guy down the line, and Mike says he's doing phenomenal as a producer.
Because Michael helped me, when I made the transition from in-ring talent to producer in the back, Michael helped me tremendously with a lot of stuff. And I was kind of like underneath his wing for a little bit. you
Yeah,
know.
that's good. Yeah.
And then I went, and then after it helped me to be able to work with the Usos and the New Day when they had their feuds and things like that. So many different talent that I was able to work with as a producer, which I was very happy about because I didn't think, after making the transition, I thought maybe it was just too early for me to become a producer. Who would want to listen to me? Because, how much do I have underneath my belt to give that type of advice to somebody that I had been in the ring with? I know.
Don't sell yourself short of it.
No, but that was the thing. That was my mindset coming into the producer.
Yeah.
But then as time, I realized, like you said, don't sell yourself short. And that's when my eyes kind of opened up and I started feeling comfortable with everything. And that was when Michael came in and told me that. He was like, don't sell yourself short. And that was exactly what he said. Because I had expressed to him what I felt and what I thought.
Right.
He was like, you're thinking wrong. He was like, you wouldn't be put in this position if they didn't think you had it to do it. So go out there and give it.
You got to have at least one good Vince story as a producer. You got to have at least one, because that's the unfortunate part of being there's one thing going out and performing and doing something and getting heat, but as a producer, that's just like, because you have no control really.
No,
you have
no
control.
control.
But you have no control, but you're responsible. Mm-hmm. So, and the way you're grinning, I know you got something. So I gotta hear it.
There was a couple. This was like right in the very beginning of COVID. When it started happening, this is when we were doing the shows at the Performance Center. And, we didn't really know too much about what was going on with COVID, so everybody's got the mask on and stuff like that. So I'm a little late coming in. I was like maybe 2 or 3 minutes late, but they hadn't started the meeting yet. I got gloves on.
Oh, jeez.
I got the hat on. Oh, yeah.
No.
I got the mask
You're
on. and everything.
about to go into surgery.
Yeah, so I got my briefcase in my hand. I walk in. Vince goes, what the I go, oh, hey, Vince, how you doing? He goes, D-Von, I know I'm a little late. He goes, that's not what I was going to say. He was like, you don't know what I'm going to say. I was like, I really don't want to know. Just keep that to yourself, please. Just keep that to yourself. And of course, Michael Hayes, no, Vince, tell us what are you going to say. What are you going to say? Like, no, I ain't going to do that to D-Von. No, ain't going to do it.
So great. One thing about a room full of wrestlers, they're going to throw you under the bus. No, we got to hear it.
We've gone this far with it.
Yeah.
So you had the mask. Did you have the face mask and the shield?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, holy hell! It was you that hit me with that damn chair.
No, it was him. No, it was Bubba. It was Bubba. It was
The
Bubba.
fat white one. That's the fat white one, promise.
Oh, D-Von, brother.
All right, I got one question for you before we get out of here,
Sure.
man. This is why I ask everybody this. Mount Rushmore. Who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers?
You get 4.
Tag team?
No.
Let's do a tag team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's do a
Wait.
tag team. I like that.
Definitely going to say the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
Definitely one. The British Bulldogs.
Wow. Okay.
Huge British Bulldogs, man. And I know they had separate careers and I know dissension, what have you, but I was such a big fan of the British Bulldogs growing up and the way Dynamite would take you, snap you, that snap suplex, just the thing that they did in general at that time was like unheard of. It was like watching Tiger Mask and him and Dynamite Kid at Madison Square Garden. It was like unheard of. To see the things
Just
that they
the
were doing.
the
It was
crispness of their. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. Definitely the Hart Foundation.
Okay.
Love the Hart Foundation. Telling On.
God, that's what I'm talking about.
Telling on.
Yeah. You know you're wrestling.
He's an old school WCW set. He's WCW
Yeah,
guy.
I'm a big full horse.
But see, here's the deal. In Brooklyn, in New York, remember they didn't really, because when I was growing up in the projects, we didn't have cable like they did, like the Long Island, things like that. So we had like a little box, and it would switch. You press the switch, and it would go from regular TV to HBO. Or there was another thing called WHT back in the day. It was like the rival for HBO. And so we didn't have like the box where you press the buttons for the different channels. So we never really saw NWA.
Yeah.
WWE was the market in New York.
Yeah.
And that's really what we got. The only time you saw it is when you had that little TV with the top knob on the front, and the second one with the, what was it, U something?
UHV or something.
You had like,
Came in real grainy.
right.
And,
So it was like, the top one, I think the final one was 13. Then you go on the bottom knob, and it had all the way up to 50 something.
Yeah.
And then 90% of those stations didn't work.
Yep.
But every once in a while, they would show NWA. And they would show it, and I would see it, and I was like, what the hell is this? This ain't WWF.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, what is this? And sure enough, that's how I got to know about Ric Flair and the Telling It On and the Four Horsemen, Lex Luger, all of those guys. That's how I learned, because of watching it on the U channel.
Wow.
Yeah, because we didn't have it. Again, we didn't have it back then.
That's a good.
So it was very, very hard to see NWA back then.
It's good wrestling.
And it was only until WCW, when they made the switch from NWA to WCW, where cable was now reaching everywhere.
Yeah, with TBS.
Yeah. With TBS. So now
Yeah.
it was everywhere. So you were able to see that. You were able to understand there was another alternative other than WWE.
Yeah.
Did it come on local TV? Were you?
Yeah.
You guys didn't
When I
have
was a
cable,
kid,
did you?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, it was on local TV on Saturdays and stuff.
Yeah, see, they didn't have that
then-
in New York.
We didn't have cable.
Or at least
we
in
didn't for
Brooklyn.
a long time. It was, and it was.
Man used to have to. His daddy would make him stand on the roof with the antenna.
not far from that.
And the antenna with the foil on it.
Yeah.
And, stand on one leg, and then his brother JR make him say, "No, one leg."
We
one
did have
leg.
the big. We grew up sport. We had the big box with the little, the screen's this big in a box. This big.
Well, hold on. Did you have the big TV on the bottom, the big floor TV, and then the little TV on top?
No, we had big floor TV, and that thing lasted until I was 21 years old. And I'm 41 now. So I was 21. I remember Mom and Daddy getting that thing. We lived in a single wide trailer, and they got that thing when I was like 7, and it lasted that long, right?
The big Magna box. Is
Yeah,
that
oh
what-
yeah, the big wood box, and you had like the family pictures on top of it and everything else. That big wood box, but the screen wasn't but like 25, 27
Yeah.
inches,
Yeah.
And it had the knobs on it, the UHV knob and everything, and we had the rabbit ears and all that stuff, and it was plenty of times you'd wrap aluminum foil around it to extend that sucker. And you get and you're out there moving it around and everything else, trying to get it to come in and stuff. And we would watch NWA and all the Smoky Mountain and wrestling and everything. And then it turned into WCW or WCCW or something like that.
See, I do charity work too.
I'm a Make-A-Wish kid. That's it's a co-host.
At first, I was like, wait a minute, what?
All right, and thanks guys for tuning in. Glad to have you, D-Von. Boy,
Brother, you got to come back. I've thoroughly enjoyed
we
this.
need his tag team partner next time.
Yeah, we get them both together. We'll get them fighting and carrying on, telling lies on
Telling
each other.
lies.
I'll see
please
Bubba
set
here
that
soon. Yeah, I'll set that up.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd
my
be
goodness.
fun.
I want
That
him
would
to
be
be
fun.
able to tell you to the face that he hit you with that chair.
Yeah, I don't know. He's never admitted it.
We got video.
Oh, we'll play back the video.
Gotta play
we'll
back the
play back the
video.
video during the episode. Make sure he knows. Yeah, we can Exhibit A.
So Bubba, exactly what happened here? Because it really looks like it was you
That hit me with that chair.
Yes,
What was that,
split me
Fat
open.
Lover?
Yeah, I was.
I remember it was about 10 years ago. Like when I thought I had to retire the first time with my hip, and then I cut my hair off. I shaved my head and everything. There's a nice big old scar right back there. I remember when my kids asking me, "Dad, where'd that scar come from?" It's like them damn Dudleys.
See, guilty from association.
Yeah, you're guilty. Hey, there was two of you.
He didn't say Bubba.
He said them damn Dudleys.
I was way on the other side. It came right in the back. Boop.
You did your job correctly.
Hey.
You had one job. Well, man, hey, can't thank you enough, bro.
Oh, no, thank
You're
you for
always
having me.
welcome here.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Had a
we'd love
blast.
to. Yeah, we'll get your partner in here, and we'll get to the bottom of this damn chair.
And like we said, we've known each other for so long, we never really got the opportunity to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
All these years that gone by, this is the first time we've ever got to really, really talk to each other. And again, we were on the road doing what we were doing or what have you. It was just didn't have the time.
Yep.
Now we got the time to do this. I would love to do it again.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely,
this will
gonna
be
make
fun.
the rotation.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
I may not be here.
Right.
He's trying to retire. He's trying to get out of this business. Yeah. He doesn't know how to, though. That's the problem.
I'm not good at retiring.
He's not good at retire. Well, we appreciate it, D-Von. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to all of our sponsors. Happy Dad, First Phorm, Lord Nicked, if you like some nicotine, Magic Spoon, and of course, Bluechew.
Mm-hmm.
Just chew it and do it.
Bluechew.
All right.
All right, got to get me some of that.
That's right. There you go. Yeah. End up with a couple more kids. All right.
I'm trying to catch up to Rikishi.
There you go. Well, I don't know.
Where is it? What is his number now? What does he got?
I don't know, but you
I think it's 9.
You can have your own bloodline going on.
Yeah,
but-
I think it's. I think I could be wrong. I'm sure somebody will correct me, but I think it's 9. I'm at 7.
Single-handedly keeping the wrestling business alive.
Yeah, he is.
All right, well, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Tune in next week. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Thank y'all. Thank you, D-Von.
Thank you.